So did you get to watch last night?
I saw a little bit. Yeah, very excited for their opening. There was a guy walking around with a Redskins hat on who's getting drilled downstairs, but no, that was awesome.
How much of it was familiar versus not familiar? Like when you watched the scheme.
Very familiar. Very familiar. Yeah, I mean it was almost. A lot of the same stuff, and excited to see those guys at that level execute it, and it was fun to watch for sure.
Extra exposure.
I'm sure it will to a certain extent. Yeah, I think the biggest thing is we just need to get the right guys, and if there's a few more people that are drawn in that net because of that exposure, that's great, and then we just need to make sure that they're the right guys that end up here. I think it certainly validates something that we thought of this type of system can work at any level. And a lot of people use that against us in recruiting, but you look at the past several drafts, not only at quarterback, offensive line, basically across the board, the quote-unquote spread offense has been well represented in the draft, and that'll certainly revalidate something that we kind of already believed in.
Rick, did you have a question?
Yes, please. Just a quick kind of scouting report on Tennessee. What do you see from them on both sides of the ball? And then beyond that, how much of what Butch Jones did at Cincinnati do you see now starting to take place at Tennessee?
That's the hard part. That the answering the last part first is exactly how much is transferred over. They're really talented. Both sides of the ball. Typical SEC, huge up front on the offensive line. Very physical, very athletic. Similar scheme to what we do, offensively, defensively. Again, same thing. Fast, physical, huge defensive line up front, really athletic on the back end. They're by far, which is probably to be expected, the most athletic team that we've played to date. Really jumps out in special teams. They dominated these last couple games from a special team standpoint. Had a punt block that was kind of a fluky deal, and just dominated the rest of that phase. Which that's where from an athletic standpoint it jumps out the most on tape. But it's a tremendous challenge, and how much they've brought in from Cincinnati, that's always one of those $1 million questions of how soon kind of they can implement those things. But they're similar. They're not exactly the same, but similar.
Andrew in front.
You talked about that 5 turnover in 6 play stretch. They had that kind of ridiculous sequence, but going back to all of Butch Jones' career, he has a lot of turnovers. Is there a style that he employs or his defensive coordinator employs that you see consistent that enables an aggressive play?
We need to study it, because that's the name of the game. Other than points, turnovers decide victories and losses. But they played really hard. That's something that we've always prided ourselves upon, that we're going to play really hard and be relentless to the ball. That shows up on tape. As far as what they do, we need to study it because they're doing something right. We're very proud of how we take care of the football. We're proud about how we attack the football, and you're always looking for ways to get better.
Yes, right.
How much can you really take from the film of Austin Peay and Western Kentucky when you're looking at an upcoming opponent?
The Austin Peay analogy is probably very similar to like our Nicholls State game. I mean, they formationally, Austin Peay on offense won't help us at all, and defensively, Tennessee just really got after them. It was a mismatch. In all phases. Western Kentucky's a little bit different. They're a different team than Austin Peay is for sure. But it got so out of hand with the turnovers and all those things adding up. Then they scored a couple kind of weird situational touchdowns. Again, that's the hard part about this time of year is you don't have that just bank of knowledge that you think but you're not rock solid in your scouting report in any way.
Warren in the back.
Mark, on tape, can you tell if Butch is running a faster tempo offense like Cincinnati? Is it on par with what you guys do?
I don't know. No, we can't tell that from tape. You can look at number of plays per game, although I heard they were talking about slowing it down after they were way ahead in both those games, which that's probably that's gonna happen when those games are out of hand. But they've run a very good system, very very sound on both sides of the ball in all three phases. They're very well coached, and it'll be a tremendous challenge.
Rick in the back.
Just kind of keep following up on that theme. How much tape of Cincinnati do you guys look at, just to, kind of contingency planning?
All of it, anything we can get our hands on, and they have the majority of their staff came from Cincinnati, and so the problem is now you're comparing kind of some games. They're going to defend certain teams way differently than they defend others and defend us, and so that again is kind of the guesswork that goes into it. And by game 9 or 10 or 11 or 12 at Cincinnati, they're going to be doing different stuff than you are at game 3 or 4 at Tennessee. So that's where the guessing comes in, and you just try to predict and then again go back to your strengths.
Front, far right.
Any players for them on defense that have really stood out that might give you more trouble than others?
The guy that's 6'8", 360 or 380 or whatever he is, he jumps out. Enormous guy, just does a great job and is still really athletic at that size. Their middle linebacker is a great sideline to sideline guy, really good cover guy, gets his hands on receivers and makes a ton of plays everywhere. Their back end is really fast. And especially, comparing them to our two previous opponents, it's just a definite step up, which is to be expected of a place like Tennessee. And so it doesn't take long for that to jump out on tape.
Oregon has tried really hard to get a lot of big name programs to come here. What does it mean to have Tennessee's down a little bit, but this is an all-time recognized program? What does it mean to have Tennessee come to Autzen Stadium?
I think it's great for our fans. It's for us. It's another game on the schedule, and we have to play it, and we have to approach it that way. I think it's great for the fans, for the media to then work all the theories of if A played B and B played C and C played D and to E and Z and Q, and at some point Fordham beats Alabama. Those are great to talk about, and for us, we need to just approach it in our process.
But there has been a lot of talk over the years about the struggle to get teams like that to come here, which then, of course, hurts strength of schedule, and then you're always having to go play someone else, like LSU at a neutral site and come here. I mean, so it does have an impact on the program, doesn't it?
It's at least good that it's reciprocated for sure. That part of it's good. The scheduling, that's a 7.5 hour mini-series discussion. Yeah, I mean, there's been a couple situations where we've tried to quote get some big names to do home and homes, and even a couple neutral sites that haven't happened for whatever reason. There's a couple that are in the works going forward. Yeah, exactly. And that's just such it's such a weird thing. I mean, we're geographically isolated from a lot of the teams that other people schedule, whether those are MAC teams or some of those Eastern teams, that it's just easier traveling, and we don't have 100,000 seat stadium. So certain places can guarantee differently than we can. But yeah, I have some say, but we just play the games.
Kind of follow up on what Aaron was talking about. I understand that every game is a Super Bowl and that. But is there an excitement level from your part and the coaching staff to face an SEC team, to go up the challenge of matching up with an SEC team?
I'm excited for every day. I'm excited for this, believe it or not, because I'm learning from this. I'm getting better, and every day is exciting. Every game is exciting. I mean, if you're not excited to play whoever's on your schedule, you're in the wrong business. And as we've seen again, week in and week out, all those games that you guys are writing down in Sharpie in your ledger don't happen. And that's because that person on Monday said, well, this is going to happen, and it didn't. See? Yeah. That microphone. But that, and again, and just and how you guys say it, it's I know it's your way. That's our whole identity. That's our whole culture. That's why we are the way we are, is because we really think it matters. and we don't scoff at quote unquote lesser opponent or are intimidated by a quote unquote superior opponent. We're just excited to be around each other and prepare.
Any other questions?
Warren fell asleep mid-answer right there.